Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Murphy, and thank you for visiting my channel. This channel is all about empowering agents to master their craft and become better leaders. Today, we're going to be talking about the speed to the lead and what you should not do unless you really enjoy anxiety and pressure. Uh, so, we'll get into that in a moment. Let's talk about the numbers for the day. We've got 245 dials. I had 21 people pick up the phone. I did two quotes, and I even used a software where you can send a like on a phone, you can send a link to the client, and the client can hit the link, and then you can share the screen that you're on exactly so that they can see exactly what you're doing, like the application, so the client can view it on their phone or send it to their email, and they can view it that way. So I did that with one of the clients too, and that didn't work either. That was pretty funny. We'll go over that in a minute. I had the two quotes and no closes. I had talk time of 170 minutes. So, put in a decent day of work. Now, this lady, she was great. We started chatting. She had a policy with AARP. She got it a long time ago, and it canceled on her. Long story short, it ended up being AARP's problem. They offered to get the policy back in order. Because of that, she started looking around and she started seeing maybe there were some options that were better. And she decided not to get that policy. She talked to somebody already and she thought that was too much. So we chatted. I went through our process and structure. We got down to it. She wanted a term policy, dead set on term. She didn't care after that. She didn't think she was going to make it then. Her daughter died a year ago. Her and her husband, they're 74, and he has coverage. Their daughter died 52, and their other son uh, actually helped out with things, took care of a lot of things, and she didn't want him to have to do that this time. She felt like she needed to take care of it. So we got her 25,000, and that's a decent price. She liked it. I could tell since she was skeptical, um, and then we did this process, and she was like, "Oh, that's great." So I got that set up, and we're going through everything, and she's like, we get down to, and it's funny because you can see it on the screen, so you like know that, I mean, she's got to know it's coming. And then eventually, she's like, "Oh, I don't give up my social. I'll just give you the last four." And, I did the song and dance of what we need the social for and yada yada yada, and she's like, "Well, I don't do that." And I said, "Okay, well, this might be another nail in the coffin." We started talking about banking, and no, I don't do banking. I don't do banking. So I was like, "Okay, no problem." So I've got this little thing. I haven't got it memorized yet, but it's a good word track. So I asked her, I said, "What do you think you would need to have happen for you to have trust that would allow you to move forward and put something in place?" And she literally said nothing. And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well," and then, basically I started talking to her about, like, the insurance, and if she doesn't do a policy with me and she goes somewhere else, she's going to have to give somebody her social security and banking. And she was like, well, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, you know, how do you going to get this insurance in place if those are the things that you're not going to do?" She's like, "I'm not." And then I brought back up, I was like, I know your daughter passed away a year ago, and all the stuff you told me that the family went through and your son did, and you didn't want him to have to do that. I know he has the money, but you said you didn't want him to have to do that." And she was like, "Well, that's it." It was like no biggie. And then she was kind of halfway there. Then she, like, turns to George, her husband, and I think if he wasn't there, she would have done it, because she was like, "Well, George, do you think I should give him my social security number and this information?" And he was like, "No, you remember the bank said don't hand out any of your banking or social security number." And I'm like, "George, bro, this is for you, man. What are you doing?" I mean, I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, bro, this is for you. You're the beneficiary. What's your problem? And then, so she didn't do it. And she's never going to do it. Odd, right? I mean, there was emotion in that call for sure. And she agreed upon it, but she just wouldn't give out that. And maybe somebody else could have closed that lady, but I'm thinking that she's not going to buy insurance at all. So it's funny because we left it, I'm not big on callbacks, but I did say, did you want to, continue conversation, or is this kind of like the last time we're going to talk? And she's like, this is the last time we're going to talk. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, you have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. Health and happiness to you and your family. And she's like, yeah, you too. Thank you so much. Have a great day. It was crazy. Um, yeah, it was just really interesting. But that was pretty funny. So I wanted to tell you that story real quick. Speed to lead. What do I mean by that? If you don't know what that means you get a lead and as fast as you can connect to it. I run Facebook ads. And that's how I generate my leads. I have my own ad campaign, and people respond. It's my face in the ads or the pictures. It's connected to my Facebook account, so they can go there and they can see me and stuff like that. So those are the leads I get. So when I get them kind of like in real time. When they come in, they go to my CRM, and you want to call them as fast as possible. That's what speed to lead, because it makes a lot of sense, especially when you're in this broker world. We all have the same companies, so these people are looking, they're going to get the insurance. If they respond to your ad, they responded to another ad. So, but if you don't get to them, somebody else will get them. And if we all have this very similar products, is you can't, like, if they just bought it 3-4 days ago and it's like American Amicable or Mutual of Omaha, Living Promise, I mean, that's the same stuff you got. It's not like there's some magical better company out there that they're going to get this, great price. Now, if they're in like, some of these other captive companies that are a little higher, or if they're in a guaranteed issue because they just signed up for anything that came to them, they didn't really talk to anybody. Yeah, that's a conversation you can get into. But for the most part, if they've already got the insurance within the last few days and it's all the same companies that you have, then there's not much you can do, right? So speed to lead, very important. When you get your leads, you want to call them as fast as possible. Basically, they come in, I see it come into my CRM, and I can turn around and call it immediately. I actually have an AI bot inside my CRM, so it starts talking to them. It can even book its own appointment with them. So, I mean, there's sometimes people come in, they book an appointment, and I don't even, speak to them until that time. So that's great. But here's the thing that's not great. And this is the big thing. And I'm going to be real with you guys. Um, yeah. So let's be real. I thought I wasn't getting into insurance and I was done. And then I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to get back into this game. And I did. And then I set everything up and then I froze. Yes. 10 years experience. I don't know how many applications I've actually wrote in those 10 years. With some of the lots. As many conversations that I've been on the phone in my 3 years of telesales. Like, I've talked to a lot of people. I've been with different IMOs. I've been in houses. I've had a lot of hours of conversation with life insurance. And I was a mess. But I was frozen. I was paralyzed. I had everything turned on, my lead campaign, all the CRM. I mean, there's tons of things that go into this operating cost, probably anywhere between about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. And I turned all that on and I froze. And I would sit here and I'd put my headset on and I wouldn't call. I'd cry. I'd get upset. I was not in a good place, mentally. I was, And then you know what your head does once you're like that? You go down the rabbit hole, man. I I wasn't working for a while before I got into the insurance. Kind of, took a little hiatus to find myself, and instead of finding myself, I think I went deeper down the rabbit hole of being lost. So when made the decision to do this, I really was in the right state of mind to do this and get back in it. So once I got everything set up, I was scared, frozen, fear, fear that I would fail, fear that other people would see me, and the old Chris that they knew was gone. That I couldn't produce like I used to. Afraid that I just wouldn't be as good because I mentally wasn't in a good spot. Um, there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of emotions, and it ate me up inside. And I just started to waste away. And as you're seeing all this money go out and you're not doing the things that you need to do and that you know how to do, you get caught in your own mind. And then that rabbit hole goes, and then you're telling yourself, "Oh my gosh, I'm lazy, I'm stupid, this and that," and now you're just playing this game, going round and round in your head. At the same time, you're just staring at a screen or staring at a wall, and then you're looking at your wife and your child, and you're like, "Wow, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do for them, right?" I'm not trying to get emotional, but this is emotions, and this is a true story about me. So I didn't call these folks right away, and I tried to play it off like, no worries, I'll get it tomorrow. And weeks went by, probably almost a month, really. Um, and I was like, man, I got to do something, or this is it. Like, I'm drowning. I'm going backwards, and this is not me nor my capabilities. So I had to make a couple adjustments in my life, and I did that, and you know things started to get a little bit better. So the reason why I tell you this story in some cases for you to understand what that does to me now. Now I'm behind the eight ball. In some cases I am farther behind than when I started, right? So I'm getting back into this, which is already difficult. If any, you all know that, right? It's not like this is easy, because if this is easy, everybody would be doing it. So it's difficult, and there's already a lot of pressure and stress, and there's already a lot to get back over that hump. Well, that's not the way Chris does things. No, he likes to shovel it more on. So, instead of the normal of trying to get everything, no, I buried myself 6 feet deep. And now I'm trying to just get back to the light, right? And the reason why I need speed to lead is so important is because over the last few days, I've talked to a lot of people that filled my lead out, that have bought insurance within the last few weeks, and all the same companies that I have. So how you can how I mean, you can try to talk to them, and maybe the other agent wasn't good enough, and they didn't fit them properly or give them the right amount of coverage, and there was room for more coverage. Nope. Not nope. I tried talking about kids, grandkids, kid policies, retirement, anything, and just I just got American Amicable last week. No, I just got a Mutual of Omaha Living Promise, 3 days ago. Oh yeah, no, I got insurance. Yeah, no, I got Americo last week. Oh, are you a smoker? Yeah, I smoke. Okay, so it's like I I can't help those people because they've already been helped. Somebody else. So I have to take that on the chin. That has to be a lesson for me. So that's a lesson that I learned, and I take full responsibility for that. It's not good, and it's making things more anxiety, more pressure, more stress. Um, so I tell you that with all honesty. If that's like you, if you're dealing with that, I understand. And the only way you're going to get through that is you got to make it up in your mind, and you got to create new habits. You got to do things differently. There's some things in your life you probably got to quit that I had to quit, and there's some things in my life I had to start. The only way I was able to get out of it. And so I'm out of it. I'm jamming. I'm happy. I'm me. I'm loving things. I had some great conversations, but there is that little bit in the back of my mind, which I can't get away from, which is like, I'm drowning, you know? So I've got to do something. Um, and it's not about the skill or the knowledge that I had before. It's kind of like, it doesn't matter what you did before. It's what have you done for me now, or what are you doing for yourself now? It could have been great before, but what about now? And it's all in the head. This business for me is 6 inches between this year and this year, and it will take you out or it will make you. And you got to be the one who decides which one it's going to do. And it almost took me out, but it's going to make me now. So I just wanted to share some of this insight that I had with you guys, so that you can know that you're not alone. And it doesn't even matter if you've been successful or if you've done well at this business. Everybody goes through things, everybody has moments. But you know what they say, a setback is just a setup for a comeback. And that's what I'm doing. So stay tuned. If this information is helpful, please subscribe, share. If you're looking for a home with culture, people that actually are real and going to be there for you, not like any IMO I've ever seen in my life. You are a person. You have way more. This is not about insurance at Lasting Mark and Empire Life. It is about you becoming the best version of you. And that's what we're going to do. So stay tuned for more. We'll be back tomorrow.